All right, hello everyone, this is silverkyle, and today I would like to talk about the latest MCU movie, The Marvels, as it's been getting a lot of attention, a lot of negative attention, ever since it released a few weeks ago. And it's really divided the fandom into two different camps. And I want to go over each side, as I think that there's merits to both. I think that there's positives and negatives. So first of all, though, I have to be honest, I have not seen The Marvels. It's not something that I'm looking forward to. It's not something I want to go support. And I'm basing this off of the trailers. I'm basing it off of the first Captain Marvel movie, which I didn't enjoy. I'm basing it off of Brie Larson, who I don't enjoy either. And I'm basing it off of the movies since Endgame, where a lot of them were failures as opposed to hits. Having said that, if you enjoyed the movie, if you liked the movie, if it's something that you're excited to go see, if it's something that you want to support, there's nothing wrong with that either. And I don't think that you should be attacked for having that opinion. If you enjoyed it, you should be able to enjoy it without having a bunch of people attacking you, saying that you suck, the movie was trash, it was garbage, why would you like this? And basically just trolling you and saying way worse things than I am. Because you should be able to enjoy what you enjoy, where there is still room for discussion. So you could say, I loved this movie, it's the best movie in the MCU. And you could have somebody that says, you know what, I gave the movie a chance, but I didn't enjoy it because of this, because, you know, this story arc didn't fit. These characters I felt were kind of bland. And they explained their reasons to why they didn't like it. And I feel like that's the best part of discussions, is especially when you have two people on opposing sides, very passionate, but still respecting one another so that they're not attacking each other. That they're just saying, I enjoyed it for this reason, da-da-da-da-da. And you can kind of really then get into detail for all of these specific points. And that's, I think, one of the best parts of any fandom, is when you can have that and have a mutual respect for the other person, whether they liked it or disliked it, but basically disagree with you. I think that that's great. Now, on the flip side of this coin as well, there is a lot of people, myself included, that are cheering the failure of this movie on. Now, that sounds weird, obviously, but I'll explain my reasons, and I think that a lot of other people that are happy that The Marvels is failing are in the same boat. And that is because that it means that Disney might finally listen and start making movies to how they were before, which is what we enjoyed. Is that selfish? Yes. Is it selfish if you like the movie and you really want it to succeed and because that's your type of movie? Yes, that's also selfish. So everybody's being selfish for what they want, and there's nothing wrong with wanting something and wanting change, because, like, let's say if you really are sick and tired of Thor. I mean, after Thor Love and Thunder, I don't blame you, but let's just pretend that Thor is the one that you're tired of, or all the characters that were from the first few phases. You're tired of them, you want new characters, you want fresh characters. Then you would almost want the new characters to start succeeding more. And if the other ones aren't doing as well, maybe not necessarily failing, but not doing as well, it means that Disney would be like, okay, well, the new characters are working, let's keep doing those ones. That's what's selling right now. Now, it's weird that we're wanting a failure, but it's because that for Disney to change, it looks like they need literal failures that bomb so hard that they have no choice because they lost money. That's the reason why we're cheering this failure on. Because if it just did mediocre, they're going to continue doing these movies, and they're not going to focus on the characters that we like, or good storytelling and good, interesting characters. That's what I want. Captain Marvel, to me, is not an interesting character. And let's talk about the elephant in the room and talk about, is it woke or not? Okay, yes, there's potentially pandering here, and that South Park episode, just wanted to say, it's a funny episode. And it looks like Disney is actually doing this, that they're pandering to an audience, that they have specific agendas in politics. Are they pushing it a crazy amount? It's hard to say. It looks like they kind of are. For example, if you look at the Star Wars movies with Rey, where she was basically invincible, Captain Marvel, in the Captain Marvel movie, not the Marvels, because I haven't seen it, but in the Captain Marvel movie, she was rather bland, basically invincible, and just shown as a strong female lead. There's nothing wrong with having a strong female lead. My favorite character in the MCU is Nebula from Guardians of the Galaxy. Her arc of being this villain that is getting beat down and abused by Thanos, to the point where she eventually becomes an anti-hero, or a hero almost. And spoilers regarding Endgame, but she kills her old self to save her sister. and she's trying to help the current heroes. That's incredible writing. She's the most interesting character out of the MCU. It's not Tony Stark and Chris Evans as Steve Rogers. Those two are very close. Those two afterwards are the other two best written characters. But Nebula, to me, is the best one. I don't necessarily know how well a Nebula movie would do, but I'm all for it. If they ever did that, Anyway. So let's go back to what we don't like about specific characters and why I don't think politics are meant to be in movies, because I don't go see a movie to look at agendas and politics. And it seems as though that's what they're starting with and being like, okay, we want to make a movie and have a strong female lead. That shouldn't be how you write a story. You write the story, and if there's a strong female lead, there's a strong female lead. If it makes sense for the story, that should be if it makes sense to make a good story, to have a strong female lead, then you have it. You don't shoehorn it in as the first thing, which seems as though that's what Disney is trying to do. And there's, once again, nothing wrong with those kinds of characters. I'm totally for Scarlet Witch, one of the most badass characters that is extremely strong, but flawed because she killed innocent people in Civil War, because she was a villain once again at the beginning and slowly changed and then was afraid of herself because she killed people and she doesn't know the amount of power that she has. That is good writing. That is one of the more interesting characters once again of the MCU, but she's totally badass. She almost beat Thanos single-handedly in Endgame. That's awesome. I'm totally for that. Same thing if they want to have diverse characters. I mean, we don't have Miles Morales yet, but I don't necessarily like having two Spider-Mans, but with the Spider-Man games, I'm starting to kind of like Miles a little bit more, and he is a little bit different from Peter Parker. I just don't want Peter Parker to disappear. So you can totally have Miles there. I think if you want to have a strong character, a strong female character that's black, Storm, man, that's going to be awesome when they finally bring her in. Not the Storm that they had in the recent X-Men movies with like X-Men Apocalypse. That I don't think really worked. And Halle Berry, as much as I like her, she also didn't have necessarily the strongest lines exactly for her character. I want a strong, awesome Storm type of character for the X-Men movies eventually when they make that. I'm hoping anyway that they make her a strong character. Another one that too, if they want a black hero, a black movie, Blade, I'm looking forward to that. And well, I am on the account of the actor, and I liked the old Blade movies with Wesley Snipes, but we've also heard rumors that potentially the Blade movie, he was the fourth main character out of them, and that there was 3 women ahead of him, and if those rumors are true, Disney's gone crazy. But we can't really talk about that because it's just rumors, so let's not dive into that. But Blade should definitely be the main character of his own film, and I think that they could do that really well as well. Falcon becoming Captain America, I just don't like the Falcon character. I think that he is by far one of the least interesting characters. I thought the Falcon and Winter Soldier, they definitely tried in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I really liked the older the older soldier that was there, the older black soldier. I thought that was kind of interesting, but it didn't make me like Falcon that much more. I thought that the Winter Soldier, Bucky, was more interesting in that movie, and also the old black super soldier was more interesting. That was anyway. I just don't necessarily like Falcon. So him becoming Captain America, while it does happen in the comics, so there's nothing wrong with that, I just don't think that it's necessarily going to be replacing Steve Rogers' Captain America, because Chris Evans was so well cast and the stories for him were so good. I'm not saying that they couldn't create a good Falcon's storyline. They might be able to do that, but the actor himself is kind of bland for me. That can totally change if they give him good writing. And that's the whole point of this, is that we want good storylines. I would prefer to have specific characters, but if it ends up being things like Guardians of the Galaxy, where I end up liking Nebula of all characters and ends up being my favorite character, I'm for that as well. I am for surprises if it's done well, but the writing needs to be there. And that's, I feel, what the Marvels was representing is not what we want as a fandom because everybody said, no, we're not going to go see it. We're not going to go see a movie. And that's another thing too that Disney does is and a lot of people are saying, go see the movie and figure it out yourself. No, that's the whole point. We've already seen enough of these to kind of have an idea that most likely we're not going to watch like it. So if we go watch it, then it just tells Marvel they can make any movie that they want. They don't care about what the fandom thinks, because everybody, or a lot of people, were very upset with Captain Marvel from the beginning. It did really well financially because they put it in between Infinity War and Endgame and made it seem like it was a movie that you had to go see to get the best out of Endgame. But a lot of people were very upset with that. It was clear that a lot of people were upset, and now we're actually speaking with our wallets and saying, no, we're not going to go see it in theaters. We're not going to support this because it's not what we want. And there's nothing wrong with that, as long as we're being civil and not shitting on people for enjoying it. You're still very much enjoyed to like the Marvels and even want sequels. Nothing wrong with that. I don't, and this is what I want. I want less of that, more of what it used to be. If you want strong female leads, Scarlet Witch is so good. Nebula is so good. Black Widow was not bad either. Storm, I think, could be freaking awesome. Totally looking forward to that. So that's it. I just wanted to mention that. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this. Is the Marvel something you enjoyed? Why did you enjoy it? I'm not going to crap on you, and I hope that anybody else that sees this in the comments don't crap on people for liking or disliking something either. Let's try to be civil. I know this is a hard topic to talk about without going in and diving into that and hitting that swamp essentially. But let's try to be civil and talk respectfully and see where it goes. Thank you all for watching. You've been bearded in. Beardage.